The Harris family went camping to get away from everything. 2 nights in the woods, no signal, no sound that should exist. On the third morning, Lily came back wrong. Not sick, not lost, just incomplete. At home, she acted normal again. And every full moon, she goes back to the forest, swinging, singing that same soft melody, like she's being called by something no one else can hear, because whatever came back with her never left her alone. You're listening to Oculus Owl. Don't be alone. The owl is watching. Before I begin, I want you to do one thing. If you're listening to this at night, just take a second and notice the silence around you, because this story is about a place where silence doesn't mean peace. In the summer of 2016, the Harris family decided to take a trip, not to a crowded national park, not to a tourist campsite, but somewhere quieter, more isolated. A forested region near a place locals refer to as Black Hollow Ridge in the state of Oregon. It's not the kind of place you easily find on travel blogs. No guided tours, no marked trails in certain areas, and definitely no signal. Daniel Harris had found it after hours of searching online. He wasn't looking for comfort, he was looking for distance, from work, from noise, from people. Just one weekend, he had told his wife, Emily, somewhere we can actually breathe. Emily had hesitated, not because she didn't want the trip, but because something about the place felt unclear. Still, she agreed. They packed light, a tent, food supplies, flashlights, basic camping gear. And early that morning, they began the drive. The first few hours were normal. Highways, gas stations, occasional towns. But as they got closer to the forest, things began to change. The roads narrowed, the signals dropped, and the world slowly became quieter. By the time they turned onto the final dirt road, it was already late afternoon. Tall trees surrounded them on both sides, dense, unbroken, blocking most of the sunlight. Inside the car, no one spoke for a while. Even Ethan, who usually couldn't stay quiet for more than a minute, was just staring out the window. "What kind of place is this?" he muttered. Daniel gave a small smile, the peaceful kind. But Emily noticed something. There were no other cars, no campers, no signs of recent activity, just an empty road stretching deeper into the forest. And then they saw it, a wooden sign, half broken, barely hanging. The words were faded but still readable. Black Hollow Ridge. Under it, something else had been written once, but it was scratched out. Almost intentionally, Emily felt a slight chill. "Daniel, are you sure this is safe?" He glanced at the GPS. "It's fine, we're close." Close. That word felt heavier than it should have, though. They continued driving until finally the trees opened slightly, revealing a small clearing. "This is it," Daniel said. The car stopped, the engine turned off, and just like that, everything went silent. Not normal silence, the kind of silence that feels like something is listening. They stepped out one by one. The air felt cooler here, thicker. Even the wind seemed slower. Ethan stretched. Finally. But Lily didn't move much. She stood near the car, looking past the trees. Her eyes fixed on something. "Lily?" Emily called. No response. "Lily? What are you looking at?" She raised her hand slowly, pointing toward the forest. "There's something there." Daniel followed her gaze. At first, he saw nothing. Just trees, shadows, darkness forming between them. And then he noticed it. A shape. Not natural. Straight lines hidden between branches. A structure. A house. Old. Still, almost blending into the forest itself. "Probably abandoned," Daniel said casually. But his voice was just a little quieter now. Ethan stepped forward. "Can we go see it?" "No." The answer came instantly, firm. "We stay here." Lily didn't say anything. But she didn't stop looking at the house. Not even when they started setting up the tent. Not when the fire was lit. Not even when the sky slowly turned orange. And then, dark. The forest at night was different. The temperature dropped, the shadows deepened, and the distance between sounds became longer. The fire crackled softly. Emily prepared the food, Daniel arranged the gear, Ethan played with a stick, pretending it was a sword. And Lily quietly stood up. No one noticed immediately. She walked a few steps away from the campsite, slow, unhurried, until she reached the edge of the clearing. The trees stood in front of her, dark now, almost solid, and beyond them, that house. She tilted her head slightly, listening. At first, there was nothing. Then, very faintly, a sound, soft, distant, a melody, not clear enough to understand, but enough to recognize. Someone was singing. Lily's expression didn't change. It was almost as if she had expected it. Lily, Emily's voice broke the moment. She turned. Stay where we can see you. I am, Lily replied softly. Daniel walked toward her. What are you doing? She looked back at the trees. Someone is there. Daniel frowned. No one's there. They're singing. A pause. Ethan laughed from behind. You're just scared. I'm not scared. She said it quietly, too quietly. Daniel stood beside her now, listening. Nothing. Just wind, just leaves, just silence. There's no one there, he said. Probably birds. But Lily didn't look convinced, because the moment Daniel turned away, the melody came back. Softer now, closer, almost welcoming. Lily didn't tell anyone this time. She just kept listening. And far in the darkness, inside the abandoned house, something moved. Slowly, back and forth, back and forth. A wooden creak echoed faintly through the structure, like an old swing being pushed by no one. The first night passed quietly. At least that's how it seemed. No screams, no footsteps, no shadows moving between trees. Just a family, sleeping inside a tent, believing they were alone. But sometime deep into the night, when the fire had completely died and the forest had settled into that heavy, suffocating silence, Lily opened her eyes. No sudden movement, no fear, just awake. Her gaze fixed on the thin fabric of the tent ceiling, as if she had heard something very far away, a sound too soft for anyone else to notice. That same melody, faint, broken, almost like it was being carried by the wind, from a place that didn't want to be found. Lily didn't move, she just listened, and slowly, almost unconsciously, her lips parted, as if she was about to repeat it. But then, the sound stopped, just like that, and after a few seconds, her eyes closed again. The forest returned to silence. Morning came, warm sunlight filtered through the trees, breaking whatever tension the night had carried. Everything felt normal again, too normal. They laughed, ate breakfast, packed light for the day. Ethan wanted to explore, Emily wanted to relax. Daniel kept things simple. No wandering too far, he said. And most importantly, no going near that house. This time, Lily didn't even ask. She just nodded. But every now and then, her eyes drifted back toward the trees, toward something only she seemed aware of. The day passed slowly, almost peacefully. No strange sounds, no movement, no signs of anything unusual. If anything, it felt like the forest had allowed them to feel safe, as if it was waiting. By evening, the sky began to shift again. But this time, something was different. The light didn't fade into darkness the same way. It felt brighter, colder. Emily noticed it first. Is it just me, or is it brighter tonight? Daniel looked up, and then he saw it. The moon, perfectly round, hanging low between the trees, casting a pale, unnatural light across the forest. It illuminated everything but warmed nothing. Even the shadows looked sharper, thinner, more defined. The fire crackled again, but it didn't feel like enough. They ate dinner quietly. Even Ethan had less to say tonight. Feels weird, he muttered at one point. No, it doesn't, Daniel replied quickly. But his tone was just a little forced. Lily hadn't spoken much at all. She sat close to the fire, knees pulled in, staring into the flames. And then very softly, she hummed, just for a second, so faint that it almost blended with the sound of burning wood. But Emily heard it. Lily, what was that? Lily looked up. What? You were humming something. She shook her head slowly. I wasn't. A pause. Emily didn't push further, but something about it didn't sit right. Later that night, they went to sleep earlier than usual. No stories, no laughter, just quiet movements, zipping up the tent, settling into sleeping bags, turning off the last flashlight. Outside, the forest stood still, bathed in pale moonlight, and far beyond the clearing, the abandoned house seemed clearer now, more visible, as if the darkness that once hid it had stepped aside. Midnight came slowly, and with it, A silence so deep it felt unnatural. Not a single insect, not a single rustle, nothing. Then Daniel woke up. No sudden reason, no noise that he could remember, just awake. For a moment he didn't move. His eyes adjusted to the dim light filtering through the tent. He could hear breathing. Emily, Ethan, and then he noticed something. A space where someone should have been. His body stiffened. Slowly, very slowly, he turned his head. Lily's sleeping bag was empty. Not messy, not disturbed, just empty. A cold feeling crept into his chest. "Lily?" he whispered. No response. He sat up quickly now. Nothing. Emily stirred beside him. "Daniel? She's not here." That was enough. Within seconds, they were both outside the tent. The night air hit colder than before. "Lily," Emily called out. Her voice echoed slightly, but didn't travel far. The forest seemed to swallow it. Daniel grabbed the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, shaking slightly in his hand. "Stay here," he told Emily. "I'm going to look." "No, I'm coming. Stay here." Something in his tone made her stop. Daniel turned toward the trees, and that's when he saw it. On the ground, footprints, small, barefoot, leading away from the campsite, leading in one direction, toward the forest, toward the house. For a moment, he just stood there, staring at them, as if his mind was trying to reject the idea completely. Then he started following, step by step, the beam of his flashlight bouncing with each movement, the forest closing in around him, branches stretching overhead, blocking parts of the moonlight. The deeper he went, the quieter it became, until even his own footsteps felt too loud. And then he saw it again. The house, closer now, larger, darker. It didn't look abandoned anymore. It looked waiting. The footprints continued right up to it and stopped at the door. Daniel's breathing slowed. Not because he was calm, but because something inside him was telling him to be careful. Very careful. The door was slightly open, just enough to let darkness spill out from inside. And then he heard it. A sound. Soft, rhythmic, echoing faintly from within the house. Creak, like something moving back and forth, back and forth. And underneath it, very faintly, a melody. Not Lily's voice, but singing. Daniel stepped forward and pushed the door open, slowly, carefully. The wood groaned under his touch, and the darkness inside felt deeper than it should have been. He stepped in. "Lily?" His voice echoed through the house, but something about the echo felt wrong, as if it didn't belong to him anymore. From above, the creaking sound grew slightly louder, and the singing became clearer. Daniel looked toward the staircase, leading up into darkness. And without realizing it, he began to walk toward it. The staircase creaked before Daniel even stepped on it. As if the house already knew he was coming up, he paused at the bottom, listening. That sound again. Pause. Creak. Steady. Unnatural. And underneath it, that voice. Soft singing. Not loud, not clear, but enough to send a cold weight down his spine. "Lily?" His voice felt smaller now. The house didn't respond, but the sound above continued unchanged. He placed his foot on the first step. The wood groaned, louder than it should have. Every step after that felt heavier, like the house was resisting him or warning him. Hap, he stopped again. Something moved in the darkness to his left. A sudden flutter, wings. A bird shot past him from the shadows, brushing against the wall, then disappearing down the staircase. Daniel flinched back, heart racing. His flashlight shook violently now. "Just birds," he whispered to himself. But he knew birds don't stay inside abandoned houses. Not like this. He reached the top. The air felt different, thicker, like it had been sealed for years, yet something inside it was still breathing. A narrow hallway stretched in front of him, doors on both sides, all closed, all still, except one at the very end, slightly open. Creak, pause, creak. The sound was louder now, coming from that room, drawing him toward it. He moved slowly down the hallway, each step careful, measured. The floor beneath him shifted slightly, as if hollow, as if there was more beneath the house than just wood. He passed the first door, closed, second door, locked. He tried the handle, it didn't move. The third, same, all of them sealed, as if whatever was inside was meant to stay there. And yet, one door remained open, waiting. The closer he got, the louder the sound became. Not just the creaking now, but the singing. Clearer, a melody that felt strangely familiar. Daniel's breath slowed, not from calm, but from fear settling deep inside his chest. He reached the door and stopped. For a moment, he didn't look inside. He just stood there, listening. Creak, pause, creak. Then slowly, he pushed the door open. The room was larger than expected. Dust covered everything, thick, undisturbed, except one thing. In the center of the room, facing away from the door toward a broken balcony window, there was a swing hanging from the ceiling, moving slowly, back and forth, and sitting on it was a girl, her back facing him, long hair falling over her shoulders, gently swaying with emotion, and she was singing, soft, calm, like she had been there for a long time. Daniel's throat went dry. Lily? The swing didn't stop. The singing didn't stop. He took a step forward. The wooden floor creaked beneath him. The girl didn't react. Another step. Closer now, the melody grew clearer, and suddenly he recognized it. It was the same tune, the one Lily had mentioned, the one she had heard before anyone else. But this was not her voice. Lily, his voice trembled now. The swing continued, back and forth. He moved around slowly, trying to see her face, trying to confirm, hoping he was wrong. And then he reached the front. The swing slowed, just slightly, as if something had noticed him. And there she was, Lily, sitting on the swing, eyes open, looking straight ahead, still moving gently. But her lips were still singing, and the voice was not hers. Daniel froze, every instinct telling him this wasn't right. This wasn't his daughter, not completely. "What are you doing here?" he whispered. The singing stopped, instantly. The swing stopped with it. No slowing, no final movement, just still. For a second, there was complete silence. Then Lily blinked, once, and looked at him, normal, completely normal. "Dad?" Her voice was hers again. Relief hit him suddenly, too quickly. "Lily, what are you doing here?" She smiled faintly. "I was playing." "Playing?" She nodded. "This place is nice." Daniel's expression tightened. "No, it's not." She looked back toward the window, toward the dark forest beyond. "She likes it here." Daniel felt something drop inside him. "Who?" Lily turned back slowly, and for just a second her smile didn't feel like hers. Then it was gone. "I don't know." Daniel didn't ask anything else. He stepped forward quickly, grabbing her hand. "Come on." She didn't resist, didn't question. As they walked out of the room, Daniel glanced back once. The swing was moving again, back and forth, even though no one was sitting on it. He didn't stop, didn't speak. He just took his daughter and left the house. Behind them, the door creaked shut on its own, and deep inside, the melody began again. Soft, patient, waiting. Something followed her back, soft, uneasy, like something is always just out of sight. The walk back to the campsite felt longer than before. Daniel didn't remember the path being this deep, this quiet, this heavy. He held Lily's hand tightly, too tightly, as if letting go, even for a second, might mean losing her again. Lily walked beside him without resistance. No questions, no fear, just calm, too calm. The kind of calm that doesn't belong to a child who was just found alone inside an abandoned house in the middle of the night. "Why did you leave the tent?" Daniel asked finally. Lily didn't look at him. "She called me." Daniel's grip tightened. "Who called you?" A pause. "The one in the house." The words didn't feel like imagination. They felt simple, matter of fact, as if she was describing something normal. "What do you mean, the one in the house?" Lily slowed slightly. then said very softly, she was alone. A cold followed. Daniel didn't ask anything else, because something inside him didn't want to hear the answer. The campsite finally came into view, the faint glow of dying embers still visible from the fire. Emily rushed toward them the moment she saw them. Lily! She pulled her daughter into a tight embrace. Where were you? Lily hugged her back gently. I was just playing. Emily pulled away slightly, holding her face. You scared us. Lily smiled faintly. I'm okay. Daniel watched silently. There was something he couldn't explain. Nothing obvious, nothing he could point to, but something felt misplaced. They went back inside the tent. No one suggested going back to sleep, but eventually exhaustion forced them to lie down. Emily stayed close to Lily, holding her as if that alone could keep her safe. Daniel remained awake, listening, watching. The forest outside had returned to stillness, but now that silence felt different. Not empty, occupied. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time didn't feel normal anymore. And then Lily spoke, out of nowhere. Dad, Daniel turned immediately. Yes? A pause. If someone is alone for a very long time, do they forget how to leave? The question hung in the darkness, heavy, unnatural. Daniel swallowed. What do you mean? Lily shifted slightly, still facing away from him. Like, if they stay in one place for years, do they become part of it? Daniel didn't answer, because there wasn't a normal answer to that. Go back to sleep, Lily, he said quietly. A few seconds passed. Okay, but she didn't sleep. Not immediately. After a while, Daniel noticed something, her breathing. It wasn't steady, not like someone falling asleep. It was rhythmic, controlled, almost like she was matching something. And then, very faintly, she began humming again. That same melody. Daniel sat up instantly. Lily. The humming stopped. Yes, her voice sounded normal. Don't do that. A pause. I wasn't doing anything. Silence returned, but this time it didn't feel empty. It felt like something had heard them. The rest of the night passed without anything obvious happening. No movement, no voices, no shadows. And that was the worst part, because everything looked normal. Morning came slowly. The sunlight felt warmer than before, more real, almost relieving. Emily packed things quickly. We're leaving, she said. Daniel didn't argue. He didn't even hesitate. Ethan didn't complain either, which by itself was unusual. Lily stood quietly near the car, looking back one last time toward the trees, toward the direction of the house. We're not coming back, right? Ethan asked. Daniel shook his head. No, Lily said nothing. But as she got into the car, her fingers lightly traced the window glass, as if she was saying goodbye. Or as if she knew this wasn't the end. The engine started. The car pulled away, and slowly the forest disappeared behind them. But something else didn't, because as they drove miles away, leaving Black Hollow Ridge behind, Lily leaned her head against the window, closed her eyes, and whispered so softly no one else heard it. I'll come back. They didn't talk about it, not on the drive back, not the next day, not even a week later. The camping trip became something unspoken, like a memory everyone agreed not to touch. Life returned to normal, or at least it looked like it did. Daniel went back to work. Emily resumed her routine. Ethan got busy with school again. And Lily was quiet, not in a concerning way, just different, more observant, sometimes too still. There were small things easy to ignore. She would stare out of windows for long periods of time as if expecting to see something just beyond the glass. She would ask questions that didn't feel like they came from a child. Do places remember people? Can someone belong somewhere even if they leave? Can a person be in two places at the same time? At first, Emily brushed it off. She's just being imaginative. But Daniel remembered the house, the swing, the voice that wasn't hers, and the way she had said she was alone. Weeks passed, then a month. Nothing happened. No strange incidents, no missing moments, no signs of anything unnatural. Slowly, even Daniel began to believe that whatever happened was over. Until the next full moon. It was subtle at first. The night felt brighter, colder, just like that night in the forest. Daniel noticed it immediately. He didn't say anything, but something inside him tightened. That night, everything seemed normal. Dinner, conversation. They went to sleep, and for a while, nothing happened. Morning came, soft light through the windows, the quiet comfort of routine. Emily woke first. She stretched slightly, then glanced toward the hallway. Something felt off. She got up, walked toward Lily's room, and pushed the door open. The bed was empty. At first, she thought Lily had woken up early, maybe gone to the kitchen, maybe watching TV. "Lily?" she called. No answer. She checked the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom. Nothing. A slow panic began to rise. "Daniel," she called out. He woke up immediately. "What?" "She's not here." The words hit harder this time, because this time they weren't in a forest. They were home. Within minutes, they searched the entire house, every room, every corner. Nothing. The front door was slightly open. Daniel felt that same cold feeling again, the one he had felt outside the house in the forest. They called her name over and over again, but the silence gave nothing back. Hours passed, then more. The police were called, search teams organized, neighbors informed. They searched everywhere, streets, parks, nearby areas. Nothing. No sightings, no clues, no explanation. And then, as the day began to fade, a call came in. Not from their city, not even from nearby. It was from a local police station near Oregon, near Black Hollow Ridge. Daniel's hands went cold. "They found a girl," the voice said, "matching your daughter's description." Emily broke down immediately. But Daniel couldn't speak, because there was only one question in his mind. How? That place was hours away. 6, maybe 7 hours by car. And she had disappeared just hours ago. But the question wasn't just how she got there. The question was, why did she go back? And when Daniel finally saw her, she wasn't scared. She wasn't confused. She looked like she belonged there. And that's when he realized this wasn't over. Because whatever was in that house was calling her back. And what happened after this was far more disturbing than the night they found her. If you want to know what was really inside that house and why it chose her, watch part 2. If this gave you that uneasy feeling, tell me in the comments. And if you don't want to miss what happens next, subscribe and stay close.